Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Maria. I am an avid vlogger and blogger. I do have my blog online, and I share different things there too, as well as here on my channel. I just started being active again, um, just because I want this channel to be my creative outlet and share with you experiences, things that I love, and some feedback about products, especially makeup and skincare. So I hope you enjoy and watch the rest of all my other videos on this channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. So today was not so much of a busy day at work, so I was able to do a little bit of file cleanup. What happens is, like, when you're so busy that you are looking after a lot of files. um, there is just like sometimes there's a backlog of work, but I was able to kind of like transition away from the extra work that I was doing, which was good. Like I said before, my bosses do know when I'm already spreading myself too thin, but I try my best to help out as much as I can. Um, I really want to enjoy what I'm doing. I don't, like, it's a work life balance, and I think I usually fall into that workaholic kind of mode when I know there's a lot to be done and I always want to make a difference at work. But then sometimes I will tell you it can backfire. So it really helps to think about balancing everything. Um, I did that when I was working in retail. I was managing a store for a corporate clothing brand, like it's a corporation. They have other um, retail stores under them, under the company. Um, it's actually YM Inc. So I was working under the banner of Urban Planet, and my kids actually encouraged me to talk about that store that I manage, and how the upper management, you know, actually treat their middle management people. And my experiences, I only lasted a year, unfortunately, just because I just was too much of a workaholic, and I committed too much, myself too much, my time. Like, I was working sometimes 10 to 12-hour days. And my so I'm a store manager, my boss would be a district manager, and my district manager would say, well, like, you don't have to stay 12 hours. But in essence, I will break down how the how everything works. I don't know how other managers are able to manage just 8-hour days. They probably just drop what they're doing, but inside those 8-hour days, they will just like just not be um giving 100% for each task that they have to do. And they do have staff. We do have staff where you can delegate things, but I think I am just a perfectionist to a fault. Not a super duper perfectionist, but when I start a project, I want to finish it. I don't want to delegate it to someone else. I do get help, but then I can utilize my staff better in other um, like stuff that they don't have to make decisions. So it's not that they can't make decisions. I encourage decision making, but it's just that sometimes, you know, um, they are not hired to do the main decision making. So a lot of this would fall under a store manager or the assistant store manager. But I do think that since I do like to perfect every task and I really want to make a difference for my staff and my store. um, I I just like kind of fell into the trap of like working as much as you can, working as hard as you can, just to make a difference. And I know that sounds really great, but it it it's like spreading myself too thin. So that's pretty much what I can say to you right now. I'm still like putting some facts together, some pieces together of my experiences in retail in that particular store. Maybe you could learn from my story, and that would be great. I am also going to do a vlog about my time at Louis Vuitton, and out of the many, many other CAs or client as or customer service associate, CSA, I don't think that Louis Vuitton will pay attention to my blog, but there are so many things that I discovered just actually working inside of that brand on the lower level, because we're just like the retail store, you know, where people buy stuff. I wasn't in the management position. I only did it as seasonal. And boy, like, it is really funny what you discover and what you learn about not just clients, but your colleagues working on commission. Um, you already know, we already know how it is when it's commission based. Like everyone will just, it's not for me. That's why, you know, like I wasn't really my best, and like just working there, I didn't give 100% of myself. I was doing as much as I can, but that was where I did the bare minimum. So if I sold, I sold. If I didn't, I didn't. What can you do, right? And I think that was the kind of like factor that really uh, changed um, the my outlook with luxury brands. Okay, so now stepping into the luxury brand um, conversation. In my last vlog, I was talking about the Maslow hierarchy of needs, which is a pyramid and consists of the lower level physiological needs, which is like, you know, air, rest, food, water, and then the next level would be safety, which is safety and security, you know, having resources for your food, having financial resources. You would feel more secure about your life and everything, right? And then the third level of our needs would be belonging, feeling that you belong in a family, in your circle of friends, having like, you know, being part of organizations or clubs. So and being in a secure relationship. So I think those are the three most basic. And then appreciation is the fourth level in the hierarchy, where there is a need for, you know, to have confidence, and a need to be respected by others, and your need to respect others by your own inclination. Like, you know, you respect others based on your principles, right? You don't just respect somebody out of the fact that you have to respect them. I mean, we do, but morally speaking, it's like you respect somebody more when they have the same ideologies as you, where I but not necessarily when they have the same faith as you. So, and then the fifth level would bring you to self-fulfillment. So if you have all of these covered, all your physiological needs, your safety and security, your sense of belonging, and your confidence and respect from others, then you are there in the self-fulfillment level, where as a person you can actually um, have spontaneity in your life because you have everything else together. That is self-fulfillment. So I went over to describing how the physiological needs um, is actually what do you call this? It corresponds with the hierarchy of the luxury fashion brands. So physiological is like just the general needs, like your needs like for food, water. The first level would be the mass marketed goods, which includes the Gap, H&M, etc. Right? So the next level that corresponds to your safety and security is when you um, start looking at the quality after you see the price. So the driver in buying premium brands would most likely be an equal balance of price and quality. And that includes, like, say, Ralph Lauren, Guess. Um, the other brands would be COS and Other Stories, Massimo Dutti. So Massimo Dutti, I think I mentioned, is owned by the Zara group of companies or by Zara, and Zara falls under the mass marketed brand. The third level is belonging, and what corresponds to that is the are the accessible luxury brands, where you look at the quality first and then you consider the price. So usually these brands tend to go into the upper dollar price range. So that's why you need to look at the quality before you pay the price. So those are Max Mara, DKNY, Paul Smith, Coach, Michael Kors, Forla. There's another brand that I like that I know is an accessible luxury, which would be Stella McCartney, and they put the Ralph Lauren in the accessible luxury, and I do agree. They're not just a premium brand. So that is what the accessible luxury brands, those are the accessible luxury brands, where they have, better quality than the mass marketed or the premium brands, so the price tend to get higher. So the premium brands, there's actually an equality between the price and quality. When you go to the accessible luxury, there's the quality and the price needs to match that high quality. Next one would be with the appreciation in the hierarchy of needs, where we need confidence and we need to feel respected by others, are the aspirational brands. This is where you see a lot of people or consumers are actually posting their luxury brand products. And those are, most popular would be Louis Vuitton. You have Gucci second, and then third is YSL. Then you have Prada, Dolce and Gabbana. I do believe the other brands are Armani, Prada, and I know Miu Miu would be there too, because Miu Miu is a little bit cheaper than Prada, but within the same, I know it's within the same category. Those are the aspirational brands. So when we go to the highest level of hierarchy of needs, which is self-fulfillment, how do you feel about yourself? And it actually translates into your fashion brand of choice, would be the absolute luxury brands, or what they call the supreme luxury brands. And those brands are Hermes, Chanel, Dior, Bottega Veneta, and Versace. And Loro Piana is one of those. I would also put Brunello Cucinelli in there. Bottega Veneta is my favorite. Hermes is more of like an absolute luxury brand that you aspire to have, but in reality, you really like It's not something you aspire to be unless it's your job to actually promote these brands, or you're getting paid the same amount of the price that you're buying the brand for, the bag. Like it's a $30,000 Birkin bag, right? They do have those other styles of bags that they promote on their website, because when you look for a Birkin, it's always sold out, not available. You know, those. So it's because they don't mass produce these purses, and they want to give that impression of like exclusivity, and Hermes is really succeeding in that, because out of all the luxury brands, um, they made profit in the last 3 years, when all the other luxury brands are just falling behind in the negative percent of profit. So Hermes is really, like sticking to their um, marketing strategy, which has worked for years and years. So in this vlog, after that little recap, we just want to see what makes a difference for us when we take a look at a luxury brand. So what are the most important variables that differentiate and rank the brands in that pyramid, right? One of the most effective ways to uh, push your brand to the middle class and the lower class is by using a celebrity. So um, but Hermes does not really use a celebrity, but the Hermes bags have been carried around by the most sophisticated, most popular, most intelligent celebrities. Yeah, there are intelligent celebrities. So, like say, and in a movie, James Bond wore Tom Ford suits in most of his James Bond movies, which is so nice, right? And in I don't know if you guys watch that Sweet Home Alabama with Reese Witherspoon. Her collection actually has they use some styles dresses from Prada. So that's one way to get the attention, and to be as like get the aspirational reaction from consumers. You can see here Victoria Beckham with her $35,000 neon green Birkin. I'm very sure she bought a coat to match that bag. And in this photo, she matched her dress to her bright pink ostrich skin Birkin bag. And in this photo, it's Heidi Klum, one of the first supermodels of the 2000s, like 2001 to 2015. She's very active, but obviously she was on the waiting list, got the green color, so she just decided she'll buy all her clothes in green. So, talking about using celebrity endorsement, Louis Vuitton obviously picked Rihanna for obvious reasons. And in this photo, she is actually very pregnant, I believe, with her second child, maybe first child. Not very sure, but not sure if that campaign is actually working. In this photo, this is Rosé, the most popular member of the band Blackpink. Obviously, Tiffany made sure they have her endorsing all of their Tiffany hardware collection. So Bulgari snatched Anne Hathaway to endorse their very high-end jewelry pieces. I believe this collection is part of the Emerald collection, and Anne Hathaway has really um, increased her celebrity status by a lot of like really well picked movies. James Bond movies used a lot of the Tom Ford suit collection for men to suit Daniel Craig, who plays the title role. Architecture and design for their flagship stores and their all other stores in those sought after high end locations. They would hire like Zaha Hadid, Renzo Piano, uh, to like just really really um, high end architects and engineers to design their stores. Because like when you see, like, say, here's an example. So an example would be the La Fondation Louis Vuitton, designed by Frank Gehry. That's a very popular Louis Vuitton store. But when you really take a look at it, like how do you place merchandise in there? I don't think it's used for merchandise anyway. It's just to say I'm a Louis Vuitton building and I'm made by Frank Gehry. So Frank Gehry actually is a sought after architect, and he has designed so many other buildings for fashion, for luxury brands, engineering companies, law offices. Luxury retailers have actually evolved, right? And they now, especially Hermes, they have high quality control standards for like from fabric and to the design to the making of the product before they even hit the sales floor. So the next one would be the exclusivity that tells apart, or the variable that differentiates the brands from the mass marketed brands to the luxury brands. um, for example, the Louis Vuitton monogram print, that's a very very popular brand or brand print, and of course it is exclusive to Louis Vuitton. And I believe that the success of a print or of a branding of a luxury brand can be measured by the fact that it's been replicated so many times in the mass market world. So there's so many fakes out there that are very very similar looking, or like looks like an actual Louis Vuitton purse, but only the luxury brand connoisseur, or the real wealthy, and I wouldn't say wealthy or rich, but people who really have an eye for actual luxury brands and product, they would know if it's a fake or not. So I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I know if you're carrying a fake bag, you would know. Like if you like Louis Vuitton, if you like Gucci, you know how their pieces look like, as opposed to somebody carrying a fake or a replica. Um, Hermes actually has a waiting list as a part of their exclusivity marketing scheme. So next one are the designers that the luxury brands hire. So Gap went into the wait a second, into that um, crossed over to hiring a creative director. So anyway, um, after the designers or the creative directors is the DNA of the brand. So when you say the DNA, it's the roots and the history of the founders of the brand. So most of them are centenary, or like really from the um, way back when, or days of yore, yesteryears, like in Friends. But everything has evolved with regards to the DNA of the fashion brand, and I do believe that one of the brands that really hold up to their right from the very beginning with their DNA is Hermes, of course. Chanel has changed a little bit, like kind of like more modernized and everything like that. They really need to keep up with the times, but um, I know Louis Vuitton has evolved so much, uh, and Gucci has evolved so much. YSL actually is so different from how it was way back when. Yeah, so those are the DNA, but they still kept that luxury aesthetic in their DNA, and the like they kept the founders um, creative style in the brands. That's why they still work, and they haven't been forgotten. So yeah, so I guess that is it for our Why We Crave Luxury vlog part 4. And just let me know if you have any questions at all. This is what I always say to you guys. um, let me know in the comments, what do you think about what we just talked about today. You can always ask me questions. I am an avid researcher of different things, including fashion brands, but I don't do conspiracy theories. No, that's dangerous. um, so I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me.